Hey, welcome to 2 Minutes Closer, the daily devotional guaranteed to come to you in 2 minutes, 59 seconds or less. Thinking about ourselves and where we're at. And if you call yourself a Christ follower, if you've said yes to a relationship with Jesus and you've lived a life committed to Him, there's probably been a time, and maybe you're in that time right now, when you realize and you feel just weighted down because you realize you've let Christ down. You've let God down. You haven't lived out and been the person that you set out to be. I want to invite you to cut yourself a little bit of slack. Because see, you're not the first person to do that. We're reminded, Peter was following Jesus, and right before Jesus was to be hung on a cross, before he was to have his life taken from him, Peter was adamant. He'd been following Jesus. He'd seen miracles done. He'd been doing everything right as a Christian should do. And then it comes to a point and Peter's like, Jesus, I'm here. I got this. I will never let you down. And Jesus looks at him and he says, Peter, not only will you let me down, you're going to deny that you ever knew me. And you're going to do that 3 times today. And he went from a point where he was on a mountaintop. He was so excited, he lived with so much zeal for Jesus. And in an instant, he denied Christ 3 times, denied ever knowing him. You may find yourself in a point where, because of everything you've been through, maybe you've questioned Christ's love for you. Maybe you've questioned your own love for yourself. My invitation is cut yourself a little bit of slack and realize that Christ not only knows that we can't live up to perfection, we can't live up to a standard that we often put on ourselves, but he accepts us right where we're at. See, Peter had to wait until Christ then was crucified and buried and rose again and then came back, and then Jesus looked at him and he said, Peter, do you love me? And he asked him 3 times, and Jesus restored him. You don't have to wait, because Christ has given us the example, and he says, you know what? I'm here to restore your life today, right now. And so if you find yourself in this place, when this video ends, go ahead and take a moment and pray and just ask Jesus to forgive you, to accept you, so that you can move on and be the man or woman in Christ that he's invited you to be. Have a great day. See you tomorrow.